Midshipmen, welcome back. I'm joined by our new Command Master Chief, Rick Mengel. Some of you are probably watching this in classrooms and others from home. This year is undoubtedly unique in the history of Navy ROTC.
I reported here from USS Nimitz and assure you, the entire Navy has had to adapt and learn. There have been major changes we've all gone through, which will undoubtedly be felt for years to come. I am excited, however, to have seen already how well the NROTC program has been adapting.
We've quickly learned a great deal about how to execute virtual and remote instruction as schools closed last year. The Navy ROTC staffs have worked through the summer to advance these techniques, but I absolutely expect there to be some challenges as we find our way. What I expect from you is to maintain your focus even as conditions shift. Agility is a skill many young officers don't have a chance to practice until they reach the fleet or Marine Corps. You get to learn it just a little bit earlier. The Navy and Marine Corps thrive in dynamic, challenging conditions. It's central to our identity and in our role for the nation. As a program, we have two priorities this year, two must-dos. First, we will create and sustain a safe training environment for our midshipmen, staff, and families. Second, we will execute our imperative to train and prepare you to become officers in our Navy and Marine Corps.
We will accomplish the former through a mix of traditional methods and some developed in response to the pandemic. It won't look like last year, but we will make sure that by the time you graduate and commission, you are ready for the fleet. As you might imagine, this will be different if you are a freshman versus a senior. Some training that can be delayed might be. Some might be done virtually, and some, when required, will still be done in person with many mitigations in place. It may also be that things will change. We are preparing to be able to shift between in-person and remote courses as needed. We don't know yet what summer training next year will look like, but are already looking at options.
Your schools, community, and state governments and Navy Region commanders will all be involved in decisions on how and where we will execute ROTC training. Some basic COVID precautions, such as masks and social distancing, are absolutely expected and will be enforced. Other changes will be implemented differently in different schools. Your commanding officers will speak to you about your own unit's plan. What I want to stress is that your safety and the safety of your shipmates, families, and communities depend on your personal decisions and actions. Wear a mask. Limit your activities as guided by local authorities and Navy guidelines. If you have questions or concerns, ask them. If you feel ill or think you might have been exposed, follow the procedures established for you by your unit. COVID is not your fault, and you won't be penalized for informing your chain of command when you feel ill. This is a highly contagious disease. I want to stress this point. COVID is not your fault. Good and responsible people still contract the virus. Being COVID positive does not necessarily reflect negatively on you. I don't know exactly what this year will bring. I don't know if we will all be back in classrooms by January, April, or the next academic year. But I do know that I have the utmost confidence in your ROTC unit leadership to conduct operational risk management, work through the evolving problem, and ensure you are well trained. Your job is to be part of the solution. Learn and grow academically and professionally. And remember that none of us joined the Navy because we were looking for easy.
You are the future leaders of our fleet. In a few years, you will be the division officers who junior sailors and Marines are looking up to. A few years later, the department heads, XOs, and commanding officers who command our ships, squadrons, and Marine battalions and regiments, where you are learning both the traditional curriculum and on how to adapt under stress will be important to those futures.
While COVID has certainly dominated our thoughts, I want to remind you all that there are other things still happening. There's tension in the South China Sea. We continue to experience challenging encounters with Russian naval forces. We also continue to work alongside partner militaries around the world and train our own forces. Hundreds of our shipmates fought to extinguish a devastating fire on Bonhomme Richard. Our Navy and Marine Corps team hasn't stopped operating. We're getting the job done and demonstrating how well we can operate in this difficult environment. For perspective, since March, we have trained well over 12,000 new sailors at boot camp, despite the pandemic. They've gone on to their follow-on schools and to the fleet. I say this because it demonstrates that while some things are different, we can and are still carrying out our essential training and executing our imperative of sending war fighters to the fleet. We are training in core competencies, learning to fight fires, drive ships, fly aircraft, and lead small units. And we continue to execute our missions around the world 24/7. Now, as school resumes, so are you. Take care of yourselves and study hard. The fleet is waiting for you. Stay in the fight.